So Naruto Shippuden Ultimate Ninja Storm 4 is the 5th or 6th and what you would assume would be the final Ninja Storm game in the series, but it probably won't be. It is also the game that has led me to realise that yes, I do in fact play a lot of Japanese games and it isn't as evenly spread as I first thought, so yeah. But on another note, Naruto Shippuden Ultimate Ninja Storm 4 starts halfway through the end of the Naruto storyline. So basically everything is major spoilers for both the game and the manga, so if you haven't finished the series in the year or so since it ended, or you plan to read it in the future and hate spoilers, this is your warning. Anyway, ignoring the crappy ball juggling caching game that was Ninja Storm Revolution, Ninja Storm sort of continues where Ninja Storm 3 left off. Kinda. See, the gap between Ninja Storm 3 and 4 was about 3 years, and during this time the Naruto series has ended. When Ninja Storm 3 was released, it was halfway through the final arc of the series, but instead of waiting, they just released it with a tack on what if ending and called it a day. So this leaves Ninja Storm 4 in a weird position where there isn't much story left, and what little there is basically boss fights against the strongest characters in the series with nothing in between except the occasional flashback. It doesn't flow well at all. Story wise, you start in the middle of a huge war to decide the fate of the world, but never mind that just now. Let's focus on some flashbacks to know who the villains are and why they are doing things. It's an explanation for questions that have built up over time during a story that this game just doesn't tell. It's all climax with no build up, but it's not much of a climax without the build up. It's just a really disappointing end for a series, and the why is kind of obvious. For a better game, they should have just delayed Ninja Storm 3 until the series ended, then had a full game with a good story instead of two different games, released years apart with half the content in each. What there is of story mode lasts about 7 hours, but there's only about 2 hours of gameplay, with the rest playing out in animated cutscenes. The gameplay itself is a fighting game in spirit of nothing else. What normally ends in a quick time event scene as you unleash your most powerful attacks, what is quite often, since this is, as I said, mostly boss fights. I must say the quick time event parts are quite fun as quick time events go, but they tend to be pointlessly easy, more about feel than application, but they are fun to watch play out, and not just your classic press X to not die. I can't really say much more about the story without spoiling, and even though I gave a spoiler warning already, I just hate spoilers myself, so hate doing them. And besides, if you are a Naruto fan, you probably guess around where the story takes place and what the fights are, and if you are not a Naruto fan, you would just be confused as I pronounce Japanese names purely, so moving on. Gameplay. The Ninja Storm games are fighting games, and very simple ones at that. Mash circle for a combo, hold forward while mashing circle for a different combo, mash circle while holding down for yet another combo, and mash circle a little less in the air for another combo. That is basically it. Square is a projectile attack. Some characters are range fighters, so you switch to mashing square for them. Other than this, it kinda just comes down to who attacks first, as you have substitution jutsu with L2 that lets you evade something, but you only get 4 at a time without it having to recharge. So if you end up trading blows in substitution jutsus, whoever hits first wins. Of course it doesn't always play out like that, and the last commands are basically the chakra ones. Triangle activates chakra, then X makes you dash towards the enemy, while without chakra it just makes you jump. Triangle then square makes projectiles stronger, while triangle and circle activates your character's ninjutsu, and they all vary wildly. Then you have the most complicated move in the game. Triangle, triangle, circle. And that is your secret technique. It is a stronger ninjutsu, it takes off about 1/4 for more health. There is some other things like block and counter, but I think I made the point about how simple this game is. And on that note, this game, like most anime based games, isn't balanced even slightly. The back of the game case states that there's over 100 playable ninja, and ignoring that around 6 of them are Naruto and 7 are Sasuke, as well as many other characters having doubles, there's only about 5 usable ones. Well, 5 may be a small exaggeration, but there's really very few who are competitively usable. Of course, some are strong for different reasons, but the strongest type seems to be speedy characters who can just ignore your attempts to evade with substitution jutsu, and their combos continue regardless. The others that are less common are ones that can just spam powerful ninjutsu that either also protect you while you're using them, or cover a wide range and home in on the targets that also act as a shield. The only change from past games is range fighters don't seem as strong anymore, what I'm not sure that it's a good thing or not. On one hand, it was just another strong, easily pointless spammable method, but on the other hand, it was a way to counter the other two. But still, I do agree, fighting games with a large varied cast is great, but if only 5 to 10 characters are usable, it makes it kind of pointless to have 100 characters, unless you play a lot of co-op, I guess. Oh, and I guess while I am talking about characters, I should point out the games haven't changed much since the start, just with new characters added as the story progresses. But at the same time, characters have been removed and are apparently being sold as DLC, what I think is kind of bullshit. Okay, this review is getting kind of long with me complaining, so let's cut through the rest. So, game modes. Other than story, what I have already covered, there is adventure mode, where it's set up after the end of the manga but before Naruto starts, where you walk around the world as Naruto with Hinata and Sakura doing simple missions. The point of this is what you normally do in story mode: travel around doing side quests between story missions and the plot plays out. But as this starts and ends with the ninja war, there's no movement, so you get adventure mode. Next is the online mode, where if you don't like to use the strongest characters, then too bad. And finally, there's free battle, what can be done with a bunch of different modes like survival, tournament, league and versus battle, but can be done against computer or against other people in local co-op. In the end, it's a disappointing end to the series. I remember really liking 2 and 3, but I find myself with little bit complaints for this 4th installment. Another of which is there's no blood. You see people being pierced through the chest, no blood. Lost limbs, still no blood. But enough complaints. Overall, I'd give the game about a 4 out of 10, but at the same time, if you're looking for a fighting game, do not get this. If you're a Naruto fan, only get this when it's cheap, and even then, only if you played Ninja Storm free. It's not the best recommendation. Anyway, that's the review. It's been a while since I did this, so I think I may have rambled a bit much and back to being awfully monotone apparently. But I should get another one up soon and back into practice, so if anybody's actually watched it this far, then thanks for watching.